Hey guys. Hey Snugster. Hey Rich. Hope you guys are having a good evening and had a good day. Hey William. I'll give it another minute or two and then we'll just jump right in and we'll do this build. Shouldn't take too long. Well, I did actually. I made the podium in Spec Racer class with the same car that I'm building here tonight. I actually made third place, missed second by a lap against my own buddy Brian. He had a great last heat and edged me out for second place by a lap behind Clayton, our top driver. He beat us by 5 laps. So yeah, I was very happy with that. All my hard work and practice is apparently paying off, and I know I build a good Viper V3 Spec Racer. All my Spec Racers run good and are competitive. All right. Well, thanks. Okay, so a while ago I had built a Viper V3. I did a video on it, I think. I don't think I did a live stream. I think I just did a quick video. I think it was the green body car. It was this chassis I had put up for sale. And somebody reached out to me, one of my subscribers actually. And well, he initially reached out to me because he wanted some stickers. And I was telling him, as you guys know, I don't normally just mail out stickers. It's just not my thing. I'm not one of those guys that's just going to mail stickers to everybody. So sorry, hold it against me if you want. But I do have stickers, and people who buy cars from me or win prizes from me, I send stickers. And I was going to send this person stickers. I don't know. I hope he didn't feel like I guilted him into wanting to buy a car from me, but he did ask if I had anything for sale, and I had mentioned this car, and he said he was interested. He is running, I believe, an AFX track, a home track. I did mention this was a top end car, and it's on the top, it's on the high end of the price scale as well. I mean, this is a full blown race car for club racing. This is a Hopra legal spec racer, Rondo advanced wound arm, silver hangers, Viper stiff pickup shoes, aluminum independent front end, tweaked end bell, custom built rear act, the whole 9 yards. But he wanted to see how it would compare and run against his stock Viper. He has some Vipers. I believe he has a stock Viper V3, and the stickers aren't expensive. Snugster, you're killing me. I don't know. I get them from Amazon. I get like 60 stickers for, I don't know. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're not super expensive. $20 maybe or something like that. I don't even remember. But anyway, it's not about that. It's just about my laziness and not wanting to go and mail stuff out. So anyway, not only did he want to buy this car, but he asked me if I could build a second car for his brother. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to build this another Viper V3 Spec Racer class car. He also asked me to set the car up for the home track, and he had mentioned his V3 he was running. I think he said he was running 340 on the front and 432, I think, in the rear, something like that. So I did build a different rear axle for the car with a Viper hardened center splined axle, quicker 23 tooth crown gear, Viper 250 standard hubs, and these are Viper Phantom 2s. I did just happen to have two pairs left in 432. So, and I put 340 fronts on the car. But I think the car is way too high set up like this. So I am going to advise him, or I'm going to send him, I think I'm going to actually put 428s in the rear and 328 in the front. And I'll also send the bigger tires front and rear. So you'll have two different size tires to try on the car. But let me get my setup block, see if I can show you. This is a 012 rail. I don't know if I can get the light in there to shine, but that thing, that magnet, that's pretty far away from the rail. And even on my 014 rail, it's, if I can get this stupid thing to focus. You can't really see it in the camera, but if you look at this under the light, it's pretty far away. I think this is even further away than you would need for a home. I know AFX and Auto World tracks, the rail sizes can vary. I have some that are over 0.20 and some that are low. It just varies, but I don't think you're doing the car justice if you have it too high. It's just not going to give you the handling that it can do. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lower setup for you on both these cars, and I'll also include the 340 fronts and the 432 tires so you could swap them out. And using the 250 hub, you can use any tire from Viper, because Viper's tires, so if you go to Viper and buy a 416, it's 416 on a 250 hub. So all their tires are sized on a 250 hub. You won't have to do the math and figure out. I buy special tires that only come in one size. These tires are 418 on a 250 hub. This happens to be a 246 hub, so this is actually a 416 size tire. That's probably a little low for your home track, but so hopefully you're okay with that. And you let me know. I believe the person that's getting these cars is either watching or is going to watch this video later. So if you have any questions or want me to change anything, certainly let me know. These Phantom 2s are really stiff. They're pretty good tires, these Phantom 2s. I like them better than the Albinos. They don't chip as easy as the Albino, the Viper Albino tires. So So that's the one car. This car runs good. I left the timing in neutral because this is an advanced timed armature, so you don't want to advance it too much. And this is the arm that I'm going to put in this is a 17-degree advanced timed rondo wound arm that we're going to use in this car. All right. So I'm going to build this pretty much from scratch. I didn't do a lot of prep work other than I did drill out in this chassis the axle retaining pins when I had gotten it. I did tweak this end bell. I had gotten a batch of end bells from Terry and I was tweaking them. So if you want to see how I do the end bell, I know you guys have seen all this before, so I won't be upset if you don't want to watch this video because it's just me building yet another Viper. But some guys like it, and I like it. Maybe people will learn something new. Who knows? So you can see real quick, if I can get the video to focus. That's a stock end bell where the brushes are kind of just sitting right on top of each other. There's not much of an angle to the arms. And this is a tweaked, I can get the stinking thing to focus. So you can see the brushes are kind of offset. They're not sitting right on top of each other. And there's an angle to the arms. And it puts more pressure on. You can see when you push down, the arm travels down. And that one travels up. So you get a nice setup. And I use, and a lot of guys use, this end bell tweaking tool from J Products. I use the maximum setting. There's only one pin on the top, so you have to do each side independently. So put the end bell in there. I usually go all the way to the maximum line. Actually, even I added my own. I kind of go in between that, but that black mark is a little bit too far. Like that's the maximum I would do. I usually go in between my black mark and that last mark, and that kind of gives me the. So you basically just turn this a few times. And you can kind of see that top arm is the one that was just tweaked, where it has an angle to the brush now. So now we got to turn it around and do the other arm. And you do want to try and do the same amount of tweaking to each side. So that's not quite. I usually try to shoot for like 50%. That's almost there. That's a pretty good tweak. So that's what I do for that. Then I use the radius tool to break the brushes in. This is the coarse one. And then I had this one from, I think, Scale Engineering. This one you could actually put a bushing in a gear and install it in the car. This is a finer one. The Viper HC slot one, this one you do with your hand. This coarse one does do a pretty good job of breaking the brushes in. So you don't want to do it, you don't want to go too crazy because you could really wear out the brush prematurely. I like to do about, I don't know, 15 turns with this. And you'll see that it'll set the rate, it'll put a curve in the brush. Right now the brush top and bottom are flat. So you can see the part of the brush that's going to make contact with the comb is flat. Well, the comb is round. So if you were to just put this in the car, only the center of the brush would really be touching the comb. So by using this tool, you're putting an arc in the brush and getting more of the brush material to sit on the comb, giving you more power transfer to the comb. So try and keep this pushed all the way in. All right. You can kind of see the brush material come off of this. And then I'm going to follow it up with the more finer one. And we'll see if we can get, I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but you can kind of see that the brushes have an arc to them now. They're not flat anymore. Sorry, I don't know the trick to getting my crappy phone camera to focus close up. And after I use this tool, I like to check the tension and make sure. Look under the light real quick and see. So if you look at the brush surface, you can start to see that it's smoothing out. There's still a little bit of I usually do it like 85% of the way. So these brushes still have a little bit of breaking in to do, but you've really speeded up the break-in process. You don't have to run it as long on your 5-volt setting. So this looks pretty good. And that's if you want to tweak and put more pressure, you don't want too much pressure on the brush arm, but I like to see the top of the brush go down and cover the hole, so I don't see the hole to the bushing. This is pretty good. This top arm could use a little bit more tension. So you go right into the, come on. Man, my phone is really struggling today. But you go into the point where the arm is attached and you tweak it. It was focused for a second there. I think it's focusing on my big fat hand. So you want to tweak for tension right there where the arm joins is attached to the end bell. So you can kind of pry up a little bit with your screwdriver to put more tension on the arm. The J product tool does a really good job of setting up the tension though. So that looks pretty good. Hey Carl. Who else? Hey Mayor. You know, the last few days it has been pretty cold. No heat in this garage, and I don't own a space heater. Us Florida boys are not used to. We were down to 29 degrees the other day with a wind chill of 18. I was like, that's not Florida weather. What's going on here? It was still pretty cold today. It was like 30 this morning and cold with the wind chill this morning. I think it's gonna start to warm up a little bit tomorrow, and then by Wednesday we'll be back up in the 70s for a high. So I'm sorry if I missed any people that came in while I was working on this end bell. Not too many. I don't think I missed too many. We only got 11 people watching right now, so. All right, so that's that. I'll clean these. I use tape. I use my lint roller that I use to clean my tires. I run this over the lint roller and it pulls out the brush material. It does a good job, and it doesn't leave like a sticky. So you can take this and just roll this on the lint roller, and you can see all the see that? This fine one collects a lot of. Just roll that a few times on that, and those are nice and clean and ready for another end bell. All right, enough of that. So that's how I do my end bells. It seems to work for me. Not saying it's the only way to do it, but it's an easy way, and you get good results. You can get this tool from J Products on Facebook. So if you just do a search for J Products, you'll see all of John's stuff he has out there. He has a lot of cool stuff for HO slot cars. So check out J Products. Hey, Jim. All right. I do need to build this rear axle, but I'll build the car first. You guys have seen me build rear axles. This is not going to take long to build the car. First thing I'm going to do, this is actually a Wizard independent front end setup, but it's very similar to Viper's aluminum independent front end. I just prefer Wizard's hubs are a little different. I like the way they look. And these are the retainers. The retainers do have a little notch in them. I'm not going to be able to get that to show, but one side of the notch has more plastic than the other. I put that side down towards the end of the hub. But I don't know if it matters, but to me it seems to sit better with that bigger side of the notch facing down. There is a difference between Viper's retainers and Wizard's retainers. They are not interchangeable. You can use them, but Wizards are a little bit bigger and they stick out of the Viper hub a little bit, so you might have issues. You might have issues getting it to fit through the tech block. The way I do these front ends is it's pretty barbaric. Actually, Rich will like it. I use my persuader here. I put the first retainer down. I put the axle over it. Gently tap it till the axle is flush with the retainer. Take your hub, slide that on. I usually use 5,000 spacers on my independent front ends on these V3s. Seems to help, and it keeps it legal. If you use too big of a spacer, it won't fit in the block, so be warned. I tried 10,000s and they were a little too big. So after you put the hub on, you take a spacer, put the spacer on, and we usually use the shorter wheelbase if you're using a Lexan body, so that's how these are built. I assume you're going to keep the Lexan posts on and hopefully run Lexan bodies on these cars, but you can cut them off and use whatever body clip you want. Okay, for the other side, I take the hub and I lay it over the retainer. I take this is the little bit of the tricky part. I take my spacer, put it on, and then I use my thumb to hold the spacer on. Put that on, hold it flat, the hub flat, and just tap that side down. And you got perfect play, feels good, fits in. Take a look at, yeah, that's good. Usually comes out perfect. Just a little bit of back and forth play and it spins freely. Spin back around over here. All right, put my 5,000 spacers away. Next thing we'll do is we'll build the motor really quick, the motor assembly. These are the V3 Spec Racer. They no longer, in Hopra, one of the changes for 2026, they don't call them level 4 magnets anymore. They used to be level 4 for Spec Racer, but now they're literally called Spec Racer. Like if you look on Viper or HC slots, these magnets are called Spec Racer magnets. They're not... You could use a Teflon spacer. I don't know, I feel like the metal spacer will last longer. I don't know why. I use a metal spacer because I believe that's what some of the other builders that I was kind of learning from used metal spacers. Like Terry from HC Slots and some of the other guys I race with. So I just kind of copied them. But if there's a benefit to using a Teflon spacer over a metal spacer, I don't know the answer to that. So if someone does, I'd love to know. All right, so I'm going to put the hangers in. also, I don't know. I guess you can get Teflon spacers in all different sizes, but if you buy your spacers from like Viper or HC Slots, they only sell the Teflon in I think 10,000s. Although I think Viper just started selling them in 5,000s as well because I bought some actually. I Yeah, I have them here. Self lubricating. I've heard that term before. I do usually give a little dab of oil right at the axle points. I guess it could be less friction. I don't know, but it's not. It's not the. It's not what most of the top racers use that I know of. I think they all use metal spacers, but not that I'm saying Teflons wouldn't work. All right, I'm going to. Yeah, I mean, I know like when you buy a Super 7 from Terry, the armature has Teflon spacers at both the top and bottom. And when you buy a Viper V Spec, they use Teflon spacers at the top. They use a 10,000s and a 5,000, so they don't use metal spacers. So you could certainly use Teflon. I don't know if there's a durability factor or not, if the metal spacers might hold up longer or not, but real quick, I'm just gonna see which side of this white dot. So there's a tiny little white dot on the side. They don't put them on the top anymore on these V3 magnets, but I usually like to see which side has the strongest 55.3, 54, 50. So I'm going to put this side down. So the dot is going to show. That's a good analogy. That those Teflon coated frying pans certainly are slippery. What am I doing? I think I'm getting ahead of myself here with these motor magnets. I use a non-conductive, either Teflon or these come with the, I forget what that brown type of wafer is called, but this armature came with the 10,000ths non-conductive spacer, and then I put a 5,000ths metal spacer on top of that. So I use 15,000ths space on the top side of my arm, and it gives me the position I want where the brushes kind of sit right in the middle of the com. And I'm one of those guys, I like to put the timing bracket on the armature. Other guys like to put the timing bracket on the end bell and then put the arm in. Joe from Blue Oval, I'm talking about you. I try not to spread the brushes out too far with this tool because you don't want to lose the tension and all the tweaking that you did to the end bell. So just spread it out enough. And you don't want, what I like to look for, I don't want to see the arm of the brush getting too close to the top of the com there. I want to see some of the copper of the com between the brush arm when I'm looking down. All right, so now we're going to take this motor magnet and put this one on. The white goes on the passenger side, the white dot. Let's take a look at this other magnet. See which side. 54, 54.1, 53.9, 54.2. All right, I'm going to take that side. So these are pretty evenly matched at like 54 point something. I've already figured out that I need a 10,000 spacer on this one using a dual flange bushing. You get these from Viper or Terry or even RPMs sells them. I've bought them from all different sources. And you could put your pinion gear on if you want, or sometimes I use an old pinion gear just to hold everything in. You want to try and make sure your magnets, I just pinch it like this and put some pressure to hold the magnets. And those two tabs go into the, on either side. So you want the tab to be up and that tab pointing towards the end bell. And just kind of place that in there. Make sure if you're using a dual flange bushing, it sits in the slot. And kind of got to tweak the hangers a little bit and make sure you get them past the tabs. I use this tiny little screwdriver that I actually did get from Viper. It does fit perfectly in the side next to the tab, so I can pry up the hangers so that they're not sitting on the hangers, the tabs to the end bell. Because before you push in everything, you want to make sure that those tabs, you don't want to shear off the tabs on your end bell, because then you'll be sad that you wasted almost $10. And you can see just a little bit. I usually like about 5 thousandths, between 3 and 5 thousandths play in the armature, so that looks pretty good. Oh, I'm missing all this conversation. Wait, let me go back. Looks like Mayers did some research. A quick Google search, heat dispersion, because Teflon has low thermal conductivity, it does not effectively distribute heat. It's great having the Mayer adjustment. Roll in cookware. No. Takes longer to heat up due to its insulating properties. Well, I guess that's a good thing. We don't want heat. Phenolic. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Donnie. Probably didn't pronounce that right. Yeah, Viper sells them now as well. I think I bought some of them, although I think I just put them in with my Teflon ones, but you can see those brown colored ones. All right, so our motor is in. Front end is in. I guess we'll do the traction magnets next. Let's measure these. 80.5, 81. All right. 80, 79, 80, 81 on this side seems a little bit higher, so we'll go ahead and put that side that sticks. Let's see what this side ends up being. Hopefully it's at least 80, 79.8. Pretty close. 80.5. So they're about similar. One is about 80, one's about 79. So the side that sticks to the motor magnet, you want that facing the rail, and that's called high downforce mode. Most people run in high downforce mode to have the most downforce. When you put the magnet clip on, I like to put one side in and then I kind of push and roll. When you do that, it pushes out the top, and you won't break off that little tab. You don't want to just push down because you could break that little tab off. And to my knowledge, they still don't sell just the magnet clip. So if you break that little tab that goes in the slot, you're out of luck. You have to buy a whole nother chassis. Hopefully at some point they come out with just a magnet clip. All right, you guys are getting too scientific for me, so I'll let you guys chat amongst yourself in the chat area there. I'm gonna continue building this. All I know is these front tires are spinning pretty darn smoothly, so I don't know how much of a difference it would really make in the HO slot car realm as far as what type of spacer you use, or if you even use a spacer. You know. Hey, John. Hey, thanks. All right. I do have a brand new pinion gear here. I believe this is either a Jag or an HC slot. I have to admit I mixed them up and they're both orange. They both almost look the same, so this might be an HC slot gear, but some play in the front axle. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, you could see how much play I have in here. And obviously the main goal is you want it to fit in your block, so that's the important thing. If you're gonna club race, obviously. If you're not club racing, do whatever the heck you want. All right, I'm gonna put a little dab of Loctite. This I got from Viper in this little vial here. It's supposed to be a good Loctite that you could use on plastic to metal applications, but who knows. The new gears are hard to get on. All right. I'm going to use this rear axle because I'm going to use the same gear just to see where this needs to come out a little bit. I'm one of those guys that kind of shoots for the center of the gear, right? Why not? You want to try to make sure the Loctite does not get down in the bushing, because that wouldn't be good. All right, we're good. I'm gonna put a little dab of oil in the bushing anyway. Sorry, I gotta look under the light real quick. Put a little, like, half drop in the front. I try to oil sparingly on the side where the brushes are. Yeah, I mean, you don't want too much play, and you don't want too much slop. It does affect the handling if there's too much back and forth. I mean, you want it to be pretty snug, but obviously spinning freely. Yeah. This feels pretty good to me. I don't know, I just have kind of get a feel for what you like. Like when I feel how much play is in that, I just know, okay, that's good. It's not very scientific, but I just know when I feel like there's too much play, and that feels pretty good to me. You know, if that makes sense. But all right, I think. Let's put some tires on this front of this car. Speaking of pin, you can play with the location. This was a topic of discussion at our last race. Some guys like the pin level with the axle. Some guys like it behind. On the Fusions, you could actually go 2 spots behind the axle. On the Viper, you have 1. I find on a real twisty, challenging track, having the pin further back to me seemed like the car handles a little better on my Fusions as well. But all right, this car I'm going to set up with the lower setup, and I want to see how it looks on my block. So I'm going to put the 328 front tires on instead of 340. when you put these tires on, they kind of have an angle to them, like you can see the outer edge. It's kind of like a bevel almost, so you do have to get these tires to seat. I kind of push them in a little bit, and then you just got to roll them. Like I roll each edge, I'll turn it over. So like I'll just use a flat surface and run each edge on each side. Not, you don't have to push too hard, but that usually gets it to be a nice flat, so you can see that angle to the tire is gone. This one still has a little bit of an angle on that outer edge, so that this one I gotta do a little bit more. Sometimes you just gotta take the tire off, put it back on, roll it again. They are a pretty tight fit. These are the Fusion stiff front, wider front tire. There we go. So now we have nice flat tires on both sides. Gonna use, oh sorry, I almost knocked the camera over. Yes, I use BSRT springs. These are, I think, the gold ones. These are 008 springs. You could probably use 9s if you want in a Spec Racer, but I like a little bit less spring. I shoot for like 8 on my spring tension, between like 8 and 10. Some guys like it to be higher, like 15 or more. These are just some test pickup shoes. I got a new pair that I'm gonna put on, but for the sake of putting it on the dyno and running a few laps with it, I didn't want to put new shoes on, but I'll ship it out with a pair of new shoes. These are the Viper hardened, and it's like a better grade of copper, I think it is. I like these shoes. They're pretty stiff. They don't bend very easy, and they last a long time too. So these hangers do have the forward bend in them, so it helps hold the pickup shoe on. That looks pretty good. All right, let's see how this feels. Feels pretty good. Well, I don't like the way it's running. Unfortunately, I think I did get a little bit of Loctite got down in the bushing, so I might have to take this apart and clean that out, unfortunately, which is a bummer. It was just barely hitting a 4, just under 4, like a 398. Should be up closer to like 4.5. Yeah, like this the other car. It's a 450. This other car is fast. Don't worry, this one will be just as fast before I ship it out. But I think, unfortunately, I think I did get a little Loctite down in where the bushing is when I pushed that dang gear on, pinion gear on. All right, so that's annoying, but it happens. It's not the first time I've done that. Won't be the last, I'm sure. Though I try not to use too much Loctite. That gear went all the way down, almost touching the. Some of the gears don't go as far down, but that gear was all the way down, almost touching the bushing. Yeah, but the car is not running right, so going to investigate. I think I got some Loctite down in. I mean, it doesn't feel too tight, but the car didn't sound right either. Yeah. Let's just take a quick look-see. I hate to have to take that gear off, but it's the only way. Looks like a tiny, it doesn't look like a lot got in there, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna get a new bushing for now, and I'll worry about cleaning that one later. All right. But you can see how pretty nicely that those brush marks are right in the center of the com, kind of right where you want them. All right. I also didn't like the way the motor went in. It kind of was crooked, and I don't know. I'm just gonna redo it. Sometimes it happens. I like when the motor just snaps right in, everything's lined up, and it pops in nice and smooth like it should, but I feel like something was off. And these I had the white dot was showing and the green, both green dots were forward. So on the motor magnets. Let's see if I can put this in correctly this time. Wow, it's a lot more space. It's a lot more play in this with this bushing. I did notice the bushings from, I think the bushings from RPMs a little thicker, I think, and this might have been an RPM bushing. It's probably a little bit more play than I would want, so gonna have to take this back out again and put a bigger spacer. Sorry this is taking so long, guys. Sometimes the builds go super fast, and I'm sure if I wasn't doing this on camera, it would be fine. And doing it live, but usually when I'm building a car for somebody else, it goes great. So this is more like building a car for me. All right, so I'm gonna try a 15,000 spacer on the end here. Hopefully it's not too much. We shall see. I have to put a new pinion gear on probably. I already feel like that one's too loose. I don't really like taking the pinion gear off and on too much. I usually use a old one for setting up the spacing and stuff, and then I put the permanent one on. But it's okay. I'll put a new one on later before I ship it out. I did that before. I spaced it out. Okay, that's better. That's better with the 15,000s. Excuse me. Hey, Barry. Yeah, but I could lube the bushing first, but I could still get Loctite down in there. I mean, I guess the lube might help kind of keep the Loctite from sticking, but still got to be careful when you're putting the pinion on and not use too much Loctite. And remeasure these magnets, these traction magnets. 80. 80. Use this side. All right. That feels pretty good. Let's see how she goes this time. Jesus, big blob of Loctite even back here. I don't know how I managed to get. I didn't think I used that much Loctite. That's better. In like the 430 range. I gotta break in these brushes for like 30 minutes or so. Probably bring it up to 440. Yeah, before it sounded like it was revving high and low. It didn't have a nice consistent sound like it does now. Let me see what the amp draw was real quick. 0.45. Not bad. It's about the same. It would be nice to see how you put the end bell on. Put the end bell on the count. Las Vegas. Put the end bell on. I'm sorry. I was actually rebuilding the car yet again, so I just kind of slapped it together real quick. If you go back and watch the earlier parts of this video, I think I took my time putting the end bell, tweaking the end bell and putting it together. Is that what you mean? You didn't get to see how I installed the end bell? You mean in the chassis or on the armature? But yeah, if you go back and watch the earlier part of the video, you'll see how the whole motor goes together and how the end bell gets assembled. At least how I do it. The main thing is to make sure that you clear the tabs on the end bell. They rest on top of the pickup shoe hangers. You don't want to push that down. You want to tweak with some kind of little screwdriver or tweezer and be able to pry the end bell forward so the tabs are behind the end bell tabs are behind the hangers before you snap that down. And the timing bracket has two tabs. The tabs need to be on the top because those tabs lock in here and here. And the tab on the end bell and the tab on the timing bracket faces forward and locks into the notch in the end bell. But sorry if I went too fast on the reassembly. Ooh, all right. Pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna put this on my dyno on the break-in setting. So this dyno, the VRP2, has a switch in the back. When it's in the down position, it puts 5 volts to the pickup shoes, regardless of what the input voltage. This could be on 19 volts, and if you have this switch down, you're only going to get 5 volts. They recommend turning the supply down to like 8 or 9 volts when you're running it in break-in mode. Oh, really? They don't have these little screwdrivers anymore? Yeah, I kind of like this. It fits right in the space. It's small enough to go on the side of the tab and the chassis and be able to pry it forward without hitting that tab. But I'm sure you could find a tiny little screwdriver like that, or at least a screwdriver with a flat screwdriver with a tiny blade like that. All right. So I am going to turn my supply down to about 8, 9 volts. Put the switch in the down position. It's interesting when you're breaking the brushes in, and in this low setting, you could hear it changing pitch. It's like slowing down for some reason. Hello? Whoa. The heck? That's not normal. That does not sound normal at all. It's like really slowing down. Let me try this other chassis in the... Oh yeah. Big difference, and this is only drawing 0.26 amps in the 265 amps. Alright, more work to be done on this car before it ships out. Not sure what to make of that. That's what I get for doing a live stream. Usually it takes me 10 minutes to build a Viper. I've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know what's up with this thing. Thing felt pretty darn smooth to me. The gear mesh is nice on this car. And turn the dyno back up to full track voltage. Something's off with that car, so I'm gonna have to take a look at it. Last thing, because I know Scott's coming on soon, Scott's House of HO. I'm sure some of you guys want to jump over, and I want to go say hi to Scott. But Sorry that build didn't really turn out as well as I would have liked, but rest assured I will sort it out before the car ships out. I'm just going to build this rear axle assembly real quick. Yeah, thanks, Mike. I guess that's some consolation, is it didn't literally go up in smoke. This is how I do my gears. I just use the press that I press my hubs on. I use one of the, whatever the heck these adapters are called. I always forget the name, but I use one that kind of fits in and doesn't touch the teeth really. When you build your own axle and you use these center splined, you want the longer smooth side to go in first, to go in the back side, the non-teeth side. So like this. And you want to make sure everything's nice and straight. So this longer side, see how there's a longer smooth side and a shorter smooth side. So I'm going to press this gear on all the way to the end of the spline. So this end of the gear I'm going to stop like right there and see how it looks. Sometimes I have to go a little bit further, but yeah, if you go on like Scale Engineering, they sell all these adapters, and I think they have the name for them. I forget what the technical term is. I just call it an adapter. Yeah, I did. The shaft was smooth and clean. There really wasn't that much thread locker in the bushing, to be honest with you. So I'm not. I don't really think that was the problem. Something else is going on. All right. All right. Let's see. I think I use the 20 thousandths brass spacer on the rear axle with this particular gear. Either 20 or 15, I don't remember. Let's see how tight this is, and let's see how all right, so this has to go in a little more. It's sticking out too far on that side. And yeah, I like there to be I like to feel that the axle goes back and forth. I don't want there to be any chance that the axle's binding in any way. And I push it all the way forward and make sure the gear doesn't slip. The teeth still stay locked in when it's pushed furthest play away from the pinion. So yeah, that's fine for me. Let's but we do need to push the axle in a little bit more. this is a little trial and error because I try not to go too far because then I have to turn it around and push it back out the other way. So. What do you guys think? I don't do anything scientific. I just do it by eye. I still think this side's a tiny bit longer than that side, so I'm gonna go another tiny bit more. Doesn't have to be exact. I mean, there's enough play inside the hub to. I don't even think I moved it. Looks good from here. All right, that looks pretty good to me now. I do usually like to put Loctite on my hubs too. These are nice because this adapter Stephen Petrush made for me. And if you use a Viper hub, you can push this all the way till it stops, and it pretty much puts it perfectly for you. If you're using a Viper axle, it like stops right at the opening. And there's also this end cap to put on, so when you turn it around and do the other side, it won't push in. See you, Barry. Thanks for stopping by. I know this got a little bit long. See how this looks. Yeah, so you can see it. It gives you a pretty good spacing. And more importantly, it fits right in perfectly. It's a little bit, looks like I could kind of come out on this side just a tiny little bit. Perfect. Looks pretty good. I'm going to put the 428s on, the little bit lower size tire on this car. Yeah, I mean, you can see how far away from the rails magnets are, even with these lower. I think the 432s are definitely too high. I mean, you can see how far off the rails. Pretty level, which is a good thing. Nice and smooth. No wobble or bounce, so that's good. It's a good axle. But I'm not happy with how this car is running, so I got to do some work on that car. Next time I come on, I'll let you guys know what I find out, because I don't want to keep everybody any longer. I've already been on for an hour and a half, and Scott's getting ready to come on in like 2 minutes. So I'm gonna put Scott on the computer here while I'm cleaning up. Say hi to him, and I appreciate everybody hanging out while I built this car. All right, guys, I'll chat with you on Scott's show as well. But thanks. Have a good one. See ya. Hey, Blue Oval. Hey, Joe. Hope you're doing all right, buddy. Thanks, Mark. Didn't see you come in. See you, everybody, and I hope I didn't miss anybody who came in. Talk to everybody soon. Take care. Thanks, William. Talk to you soon. Bye.